Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 55.
It's a great number.
Why?
Because it's a great number.
Oh, you wore number 55.
I wore number 55. It makes you look big.
Yeah,
that's why I picked it out.
It made you look like a middle linebacker.
Yeah, baby.
Didn't make you look like a hockey player.
No.
Like it makes Colton Parayko look like a hockey player.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about him.
Christian Bachman,
He was
it
soft
looked
as
like
shit.
a hockey player.
Christian Bachman? Get on with yourself.
He
Colton Parayko,
was a
different
first-round
story.
pick, by the way.
Good for him.
Did you play with him?
No.
Oh, great dude.
Oh, yeah, I heard he was a great
Super
guy. I don't want
nice
to trip
guy.
that much.
Super nice
Yeah.
guy. In fact, he would like just show up to random like youth hockey practices. I'd be like, dude, you want to come out and skate with the kids tonight? Maybe. And then just show up.
That's a good dude right there.
Isn't
and if
it?
he's a first-round pick, he got a nice little signing bonus because that's when signing bonuses were big.
First
So fuck
NHL
him.
player that I ever saw wear capri pants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
and
Swedes,
then Bergdog came
the
in.
Swedes will wear the capri pants.
Yeah, that came out. That came out earlier than. Yeah, that the first couple times you see some of these kids in training camp when they're a little bit older, the Swedes, and they'd wear those. You're like, word.
Who's the most like?
What?
Who's the worst, most embarrassing dresser, but who wore the most expensive clothes?
Usually the guys that didn't make as much money. You know what I mean? It's usually they're young Russians or Swedes, mostly Russians, that would just go all out on fashion because they're up to style. Their style's there. I mean,
yeah, it is.
But they would spend so much money on it. I'm like, dude, you didn't even get. Like I know what your signing bonus is, homeboy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got that much coin in your pocket. You came from Meliskorf, Siberia, or wherever the fuck.
Where you were living in a dorm with rats when you were 12,
shit. And now you get
playing with 20-year-olds.
You get a couple $100,000. I know how that gets divvied up too, bro. And you get about $50,000 and maybe $50,000. So you only have $50,000, so it's really like $30,000, and then you spend about $10,000 on your shirt.
And it's ugly as shit.
And it's fucking terrible. And then you walk in, and then like Lou sees you, or who, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" Not that it's just loud, okay? It's just loud. Not that he even cares what you really look like, but you always, especially when they show up with a nice car, nicer than Marty's or nicer. And you're like, "What are you doing?"
Marty would do his own deal with
Yeah.
Lou Lamoriello. Did other guys do that too?
Yeah,
Like,
some guys did.
Like we're going to be talking
No, a
to
lot of
Scotty
guys did,
Stevens and
actually.
stuff like that. I'm curious if you're a superstar player and you can pretty much walk in there, you know you're going to get the deal done. And it's going to be in the range or the ballpark of what you're looking for. Why wouldn't you just do it on your own?
I did my last contract on it for $25 million. Remember I signed that 5 times?
Oh, your own deal?
I did do my own deal.
You're like,
he did hook me up.
You're like, Lou, I would like a two-way.
Lou, can I get a one-way? Nope. Okay, I'll take two-way. Can I get 140 in the minors?
Did you almost ever sign with another team?
During which time?
Well, the time after
No.
after you came to St. Louis.
No. Well,
Nobody else ever tried
Yeah.
to sign you?
kind of.
Because you went Jersey, St. Louis, Jersey.
Yeah, I was in a weird jam at that point, and your career falls off quick when you are a player like myself, right? I mean, you're just the last guy on the team. You're the last guy signed. If they don't know your personality, that goes a long way too. And Lou did, and I just was at that spot where I had no leverage on anything, and I was banged up the year before or whatnot. And so Lou just took a chance, and then I made that team with Eric Bolton. So they signed 2 heavies on that team to go, and we went to lost it to all the way through the Cup. But I can't believe he kept 2 tough guys. So
I remember.
I got
that.
lucky on that.
I remember.
one.
I reported actually that Eric Bolton was signing in Jersey. His
fuck.
agent was out of Buffalo. Did you ever meet his agent?
No.
He's like a wild.
Oh
man.
yes, I did.
Wild man.
Yes, I did. Yeah, he's a
You know
psycho.
what I'm talking about.
Yes. I remember
wish I
that.
could remember his
Fuck, he did a
name.
great job with Bolts. I think he's still under contract somewhere. But Bolt, yeah, that when he signed, I remember signing a 2-way. I remember Lou, and then all of a sudden Eric Bolton signs, and I remember looking at my wife, and I went next door and told my dad, I'm like, my heart dropped.
Oh, you were pissed, huh?
Not pissed. I
What
was
kind of competition does that create?
Whoa!
When you walk in and you see him.
We became best friends.
Did you?
Right off the bat. I mean, best fucking friends right.
Were you thinking there's any chance both of
I'm
you
gonna kill
could
him.
make it? No, because
not,
you both
not at all.
made the team out of
not
camp,
at all.
though, right?
No, I had no. I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no room. All these good players, we were loaded, and some of the guys that you could spot in on a 4th line that could penalty kill. That could take my spot. I mean, a million guys. If somebody have that extra element where they'll penalty kill or this, that, and the other.
But Lou knew you.
Lou knew me.
That's the advantage.
And so that was my leverage. Is he knew who I was, and if I did sit games out, I'd be a great locker room guy if it's going to be a long year. Like I think he put it up. If I sit games out, but I swear to God, if there's competition like that with 2 tough guys, They usually hate each other off the bat. Look, I swear to God, Bolts and I were glued together. Same costumes for Halloween. Lived with, like, oh my God, the funniest. We gotta get him on. He is the funniest fucking guy. He doesn't try to be funny. He is so funny. His impressions of
Those
Lou.
are the funniest guys.
Oh God, I love the guy. Love the guy. Fucking hilarious.
When you leave the NHL,
tougher than shit too.
Is it hard to watch NHL hockey? Like, are you so? I mean, I'm just curious what it's like. Like, you make the highest level, and, you know, not everybody leaves on their own terms. You know, not everybody's, you know, a Hall of Fame guy who can just kind of decide when they want to pack it up, pack your shit and go, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys are kind of forced out of the league. You know, they're just not good enough to play anymore. Whatever, they can't get a contract. They can't get a contract.
Yeah.
When that day comes, is it hard to sit back and watch an NHL game?
I remember being on my back deck and kind of crying a little bit.
Because you knew it was over.
Let me explain. Did I save enough money? No. Am I going to have to work the rest of it? Hell yeah. And it just makes you ponder every decision you've made throughout the years. Negative decision that could. Now you're in a spot where, okay, I got to figure something out here. Am I going to get a job? Am I going to wait till I see all these guys, our buddies, you know, that we know, waiting till fucking October? Like, it's just god awful. You know, I didn't have kids at the time. I was okay. But then you just you reflect on every stupid ass decision you've ever made. I swear, I was fucked up, man, a little bit. And then I kind of got in touch with Nottingham, and I'm like, fuck it. Then your endorphins go back up, like, okay, I got one more year to figure out what I want to do after hockey. They're taking a chance on me. I'm going to go over there. The money's not great. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to take advantage of this. Kate and I are going to go over there. We're going to have a fucking blast, and I'm going to put a show on for them. And it built me back up and went over there. And then, of course, I came back and got job offers. But that moment when I'm sitting on my back deck, I remember every second of it. My mom and dad were over, Kate, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, God damn it, it's over. I'm like, you look at your fucking bank account. I'm like, God, shit.
I wonder what it's like for for a lot of women too, who are with athletes and celebrities, because it puts them in the mix, right? A lot of women all of a sudden
living a high life.
They're living the high life.
Damn right, you are.
They're getting into the club. They're getting all the the luxuries.
You're not working.
They're not working, and all the amenities that come with hanging out with the big dogs. And then all of a sudden, that's when you find out if it's true love or not, man.
Right? You always go after the wholesome girls from back home.
You know those girls when you see them, I'm sure, though, right?
When you deal with other girls that aren't them.
What do they call them, the gold diggers?
They're not gold digging me. If a girl's trying to gold dig me, you're dumb off the bat.
Well, then I'm maybe not doing that to you.
Although people everything, because I was loud here, and I still had more money than most of the people that are your age. Okay, fine, but you're not. I'm not set for life
What's the most you made?
600. And it's still good. I'm living at home. I got my house home. It's paid. Whatever.
You're living in Eureka.
But you're still big. You're loud enough.
You know what kind of house
you're in the scene, so people think you're making $4 million. People think you're making $4 million. You get my point. I'm still trying to make a point there.
Yes.
But you know, it's just that moment was tough, man. It was tough. And don't be sorry. Look, fuck again. With people going through and all that shit, I'm just letting you know. When you do all this for so long, you sit. I had the moment of reflection of, oh fuck, now what? You know, now what the fuck? You have a 9th grade education. You don't know shit about any other sport.
Did you get to 9th grade? You got
yeah,
to 9th.
motherfucker. Okay, look, can I chirp myself when it comes to that? I'll chirp my fucking self. 9th grade, but then I was playing hockey at a pretty high level there, Andy. Maybe you could have got to that level. I don't know. But at that point, I committed to hockey, and it is what it is.
You went to England, by the way. Yeah. And I always forget to ask you this. Like, did you win the title there?
Yeah, there's 2. We won 2 out of 3.
You went like psycho on the crowd with the trophy in your hand. Were you standing on the glass?
Yeah. That's a tradition, baby.
It is.
Yes.
What, like over there?
Oh man.
So tell me about that. So when you win, you stand on the glass and just scream at the fans.
You. Well, we had a trophy in our hand, and me and David Clark, who is a beautiful man, like the British people are when they speak, I feel dumber than I already am because they sound so intelligent. And our captain, who is this like mixed race, half Swedish, half Nigerian, most well-spoken, coolest guy in the world. And he just sounds so much more intelligent because he's got that.
And he was the captain?
He was the captain of our team. Oh, at any party. Like, just a fucking David Clark, you're the man. So you win that Challenge Cup is like right in the beginning. It's a kind of a little tournament within the season. It was very confusing.
Wait,
but
what?
It's called the Challenge Cup. It's kind of a tournament within a tournament. It's like a little tournament within a tournament, but it's still one of the 3 big
Is
trophies
it like
you
the
win.
OHL championship before you go to the Memorial Cup, or no?
No, a little
Or
bit
is it
different.
during the
It's
regular
just-
season?
There's Challenge Cup games. It's very hard to it's just a tournament within a tournament or within the season. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. You're confusing me. Don't confuse me. I already fucking went through this whole thing. But we won that, and then you have a trophy, and we get up on the glass and do your shit. Just really cool stuff. And then we win the playoffs. But you can win the league.
You won the playoffs.
We won the playoffs, but there's a league too, which you have the most points in the league, and we were second, I think.
But who's considered the winner, the champion? Like
well,
whoever wins
we're
the
2 out of
playoffs,
3.
right?
Like you win 2 fucking trophies out of the 3.
Who gets the banner? Who's getting the
Well,
ring?
we got
Whoever wins the playoffs.
Well, we get all individual rings for all those.
So you got a ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
2 of them.
Oh, I've never seen
Yeah,
you wear
and
that.
I'll
I'm
show you.
surprised you. It would be like, listen. There's
I wear
nothing
my wedding
more.
ring.
There's nothing more Cam Jansen than if you were to wear your English championship ring around town.
I used to wear my OHL championship
You would
ring.
wear. Oh, I'm sure you do.
Damn right I did. Back in the day. This is back in the day. This is when I was like,
But that's
going to
actually,
Harry's at
that's
18
actually-
years old.
That's actually pretty cool, though.
yeah, it was awesome.
Although
man.
no women would know what that means, even here. I'd say like, what, your OHL championship ring?
Yeah, well,
is that your class ring?
Are you an athlete? Yes. There you go.
Is that your class ring?
Look, all you need to know is I'm a fucking athlete. How's that?
From Eureka High School?
I'm jacked. All right. No, it.
So you're glad you went over there?
Very glad I went over there. Met a lot of cool.
A lot
people.
of guys who play in the league from Britain.
I think there was like seven or 8 guys on the team. Everybody else is North American or Swedish or Finnish. And players bounce around over in Europe so much where they'll get demoted and they'll come to our league if they're playing in Sweden, whatever. How
The
it
team
goes.
you played for, Nottingham.
Yeah.
Because I know a bunch of guys who have played there.
Yeah.
Right. Is that considered like one of the best organizations in the league?
Oh my god!
Like
the best.
A place guys want to go
That's
to.
the best. Yeah. Packed house, beautiful building, just
Packed house.
at packed house every
Every
single
night. What's a packed house?
8,000.
Really? But it's loud.
And then they bring us out, and I'd always be the last one to come out, and everybody get up, and I'd walk out, with the scowl face on.
Did you punch the glass like a
punched,
psychopath?
Oh my god!
You were like a WWF wrestler.
I was, but you respectfully, like some of those guys were like after a fight go blah blah blah. I never did that shit. I was respected. I respect other tough guys because we all know each other still.
Right.
But,
So the other
yeah.
tough guys you probably ran into
Tougher
at some
than
point,
fuck.
right? They're North American guys.
Zach Fitzgerald, Adam Keefe, just Lee Stalter, so a lot of big boys. And then once I got done doing that, all the big ass tough guys, Bordelot and Eric Nielsen and fucking, Brian McGrattan went over there. And
Did he? Where did he play?
He played Nottingham.
played
I'm the one
Nottingham,
that
too.
called him
Did you?
because I screwed him over because I signed a 2-year extension, and then ESPN on them offered contracts and with the radio.
ESPN local radio.
Local radio. Yeah, oh, Jesus. Hey,
You act like
holy-
he acts like he's going to Bristol, Connecticut.
Yeah.
He goes,
yes.
like you're hosting
Cam,
Sports Center.
You're so polished, Cam. Can you work for ESPN? No.
Cam-
I didn't even work for the local ESPN radio station.
We'd like you to leave Nottingham to come host Sports Center.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Anywho.
With Stuart Scott.
Okay,
Rest in peace.
the
to
joke's
best
over.
ever.
The point is, I got job offers here, and then it was like right before training camp, and I had to tell them I wasn't coming back. So it was tough.
I got to talk to you about this Gatorade you have
Yeah.
today. Do you have tequila in there,
No,
vodka
man,
in there?
Don't
What,
play. No.
what do you have in there?
No, I'm not drinking today.
You're on this
I
kick
didn't
where
drink
you're not
yesterday either.
drinking.
And
I don't want to pretend like this is like a major. Listen, I will say this
Kinda
about
is a
Cam
major.
Jansen. No,
This is-
Cam Jansen, he shows up on time. He works. He's committed. I've been around a lot of former athletes. Probably haven't been around one who works as hard as you outside of working in the game. There's a lot of guys that work hard in the game. They got to travel, man. They got to go all the way over to Europe, go to Russia, Finland, scout tournaments. Then they're getting on the road. They're watching American League games. They're watching East Coast League games.
Yeah.
They're watching junior games. Dude, being a scout is no joke.
I
And
know.
they grind it out. But guys who don't work in hockey, I'll give it to you, man, because if you want to be able to do it in this business, you got to be able to
work.
grind it out, man. And
And
you are
learn
doing that.
and learn other sports and have an opinion.
Well, you haven't done that.
No, but I could go host.
What
my
does
own show.
war mean in baseball?
I don't give a shit. Here's the deal. I don't act like I know it, so I get away with not. Fuck, whatever. Maybe I don't know shit.
But this is good. So today you've got the Gatorade going.
Yeah.
It's good. Not that I don't want to present this idea that you're shit faced or anything like that during the shows. 'Cause
No,
you're not.
no.
But you like to sit back and have a cold one, man. There's nothing
I do.
wrong with that.
I drink beer, man. I don't mind a whiskey guy. I'll drink wine at night at times, but I'm a beer guy. I like the taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think I was drinking beer since I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, my parents were pretty lenient. They were. So I don't know.
Cam, finish your beer before you go to bed.
Well, I was like, Dad, I'm stealing a beer from you. No, they're not fucking. I'm like, Dad, I'm going to take a beer. He's like, you know, doesn't matter.
Wait until you're 12, Cam.
Wait till you're fucking 12.
Then you can have your first beer. When you get to be 12, you can have your first beer.
Man, we just, you know, it's different now. It's just, you know, it is what it is.
Dad, can you grab me a beer? I'm watching Blues Clues.
Dad, no, I would be like, Dad, once I got to like 15, I'd be like, go to the
Hey,
gas
Full
station.
House is on. It's a marathon. Will you
Like-
grab me a beer?
Go to the gas station, get a 30-pack. I'll steal it, and then nothing will happen. And be like,
Steal
I
it?
don't know what to do, because my buddies would come over.
Oh.
Yeah. And we stay there and do it. So he didn't give a fuck. I'm not driving around, anything like that. We stayed at our
that's
house. I
important,
swear to
right?
God. All these other dipshit kids, I'm hiding. My parents are so strict, and they fucking rebel. My parents were lenient, and I still did what I had to do, but it was like confined. Like they knew what I was doing. I didn't hide anything. I didn't have to. They controlled it in their own way.
Until you were hanging out with Chaz.
Fucking, my dad kicked the door open. Fucking nerd, get this loser away from
Was
you.
he in the house?
No.
Did
no.
you ever invite Chaz over?
Yeah, he came over a couple
Did
times.
he?
My dad's like, what the fuck are these two dumb shits?
I got a couple calls about that because they remember Chaz, the Chaz that I knew,
Dipshits.
who took his eye out and rolled it on the
Bro,
hallway. But then you said he's probably fucking cool. You said if he did that,
If he looked like a fucking pirate, I'd be like, yeah, come on in. But no, this guy was a dipshit, and it is what it is.
all right, Claude Lemieux.
Yeah, baby.
I was glad we got him on, man. I didn't know if he was going to want to do it. I don't hear him do too many interviews. I know he has maybe in the past, but now he's kind of like a buttoned-up agent, has some real good clients.
Yeah.
And smart guy.
Very smart guy.
Interesting
Crazy.
player. I mean, you can throw that word out there, but honestly, how many players from his era truly had an identity like his and was either loved or hated as much as he was?
Well, you also know when you played against him, you don't know what he's going to do. He's going to score a game winner on you. He's going to whack you in the back of the legs and act like he didn't. He's going to catch you with an elbow. He's going to do it. He was unpredictable, and it worked. And he's a winner.
And he's a winner, man.
He's a winner everywhere he went.
Like 4-time Stanley Cup champion.
He never came out of the playoffs besides the San Jose or
Arizona, maybe.
Yeah, it's Phoenix at the time. Yeah.
He's like a guy who, and there are those type of players
Yeah.
who just carry that stigma around with them, where if you're a contending team, you want him in your
Push
dressing
comes
room.
to shove.
Yeah.
And
He's gonna show
shit's
up.
on the line. He's gonna get that dirty fuck goal or a sick goal where he acts like he's gonna come down the wall and like dangle you and go score a game winner. Wasn't just like off his fucking leg.
He is personally responsible for creating one of the best hockey rivalries we've ever seen for a good decade there, right? Between Detroit and Colorado.
Well, at least for
He
3 to 5
started
years.
it.
At least at 3 to 5 years, it was so hardcore that
Hardcore.
everybody was watching it in the hockey world, man. So it was just so big, and yeah, he was personally responsible for that bad boy.
What'd you think of the hit on Draper?
Well, it's dirty as shit. But sometimes you're just-
how dirty?
Oh, he
Dirtier than
knew-
your hit on Cabernet or no?
Yeah, I think so because you're just looking at his numbers the whole time, and he knows when you hit a guy like
He
that.
was going to the bench to change. I believe him that he was doing that.
I believe that too, but
Dirtier than the Hunter hit on Turgeon.
No, hell no.
That's about as bad as it
that
gets.
was fucking,
McSorley on Brashear.
Brad. That's the dirtiest one.
Is it?
Yeah, because you're using your weapon. At least you're hitting guys.
Ah.
You're using the weapon. I always there's a big distinction with me. I never really slash
Can
guys.
I say this
I'll
though?
elbow you though.
And listen, we're gonna have these guys on eventually.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it. Watching the replay, I didn't feel like the slash from McSorley to Brashear like it was just like a all-out baseball swing, or was it?
No, you don't need that. You got to think his stick was probably pretty heavy at the time, 1998, I believe it was.
Got a helmet on though.
No, but you hit him right in the temple, man, and he wasn't expecting it. And whether McSorley, he talks to him, he's like,
I mean, it's dirty as shit. I'm not saying it's
if you take the end of your stick, the bottom of your fucking blade, man, where it kind of hooks down, and you have that little turn, so it turns into the blade, and you take that and you fucking pinpoint it into your fucking temple when you're not looking, it's gonna buckle you. Then he goes down, he hits his head off the ice. It's fucking bad. You used a weapon.
Who did Pronger step on? Was it Kessler?
No, it's Chris Simon.
He's
did
got
some.
he
Simon did.
too.
We need to get his ass on. Simon did some. We follow each other on Facebook.
Let's do that.
Everybody looks so normal after hockey. He's like,
Where's he
here's
living
this
now?
kid's like
Where's
taking
he
pictures. Like,
living
oh my
now?
god, what's up, Simon?
Where's he at?
Oh, up in Canada, man.
He was a hell of a hockey player too.
He
man.
was bad.
He could score goals.
bad
Closest thing I've
boy.
ever seen to Probert, probably.
That's good. Yeah, I'll take that.
You know that?
Bad boy,
In terms of being like
lefty.
intimidating, could knock you out
Oh, those left
in
bombs.
more than one way. He could knock you out of the game with a goal, or he could just completely physically
left
dominate you.
jackhammers. Oh Lord, Lord. Fuck that. Good thing I didn't fight that motherfucker, man. That's left heat coming straight down the pipe. It's hard to connect. It's hard to toe to toe. You see the fight with Chrissy Bartz the other day. There's no way in fuck I'm opening up with Simon that way.
Chris
Bartz.
Yeah.
Chrissy.
Did you guys get along?
Yeah. He was
together?
tough to deal with. We were more competitive than the Bolts.
Than you and Bolton.
Yeah. And then they got rid of him.
There might be room for you and Bolton. I don't think there's room for you and Barge.
Yeah. It just got a little. It was, at that point, like, your shit's on the line. It was just a different situation. I think our team wasn't there to support two guys either. So.
All right. Well, I'm proud of you for just taking.
I know. I feel good, man.
Chilling it out.
I talk like I'm drunk.
You look
still.
great. I thought you were a shit face when you walked in.
No.
Still, I had no idea.
No, my eyes are red, but
no, it's all good,
shit,
man.
Yeah, man.
Claude Lemieux, this is a great conversation, man, with a legend.
Yeah.
Plus, I think he scored what? He scored over 400 goals, right? Somewhere in that range, maybe just under.
Yeah, he's got a lot of goals and points and playoff goals and points.
Oh my,
it's
80
crazy.
playoff goals. I think
ridiculous.
it's something like 4th or 5th all time in playoff goals.
Yeah.
That tells you you're a winner, you're clutch, and you show up when it matters the most. You know who else shows up?
Who?
Car Shield.
Yeah, they do.
When you're in a jam, you don't know when that time's going to come, whatever. You better make sure you have somebody reliable on your team. Car Shield and carshield.com, maybe the most reliable teammate you could have.
It's the easiest situation for those kinds of situations, okay? So, like, it's just you have them. They take care of everything for you, and you're just like, okay, and that's it. It's so simple. They simplify everything, and it's just a monthly fee, and it's just
small monthly fee.
It's seriously a small. Check it out.
It's like less than paying somebody to cut your grass.
And you get 10% off if you mention my name.
Like Hector. Hector's my guy, by the way. Hector didn't come cut my grass this week. Like, Hector, where the fuck are you? Like, come cut my grass. I got a house showing on Sunday.
Dude, his car broke down. And you didn't have
get Car Shield.
It's so simple. So simple. My shit went out the other day. Where do you want to take it? Oh, right up there. Okay, boom, done. Here you go. I mean, what? It's done? Well, that was easy. Check them out. Car Shield. Great people. Great company, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM, and you'll save 10%.
You'll lose 10% if you say Andy.
That's not true. You'll probably get more than that.
Keep going.
800-857-2481. Mention CAM, and you'll save 10%. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Do you know what a deductible is?
I do know what it means. I don't want to spell it for you.
Can you spell deductible?
I'll go back to language arts. I told you I want to go back to language arts classes.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do.
I want to create a show, and listen, our engineer Jamie Ryan, he can maybe do this because he can do all this video shit. He's unbelievable. The one who does all the animation stuff that we have.
Who's telling you to hurry the hell up?
Yeah, I know. But he wants to go back to Eureka High School.
I do. No, can I start in middle school?
And do middle school. Do one class per day.
Arts. I need to learn how to type, spell, enunciate. My vocabulary sucks.
We film him going back to school.
And people think I'm joking. No, if I went back to school, I need that now. I don't know. Does a comma go here? What is this? What's that? Fuck. It drives me nuts. I can't even tweet out unless Kate's by me.
I love it.
Fucking embarrassing.
Why? What do you mean you can't tweet unless she's by you?
Because I'll fuck it up. Just like our guy does all the damn time, Brody.
Come on, Brody.
We love you. You're working hard.
He is.
But he needs to go back to language arts class.
He spells worse than you.
Is it called language arts class?
Maybe he can go to school with you. I guess don't go to Parkway North. That's where he went.
Lord.
Although I went there too.
I was gonna say.
I can spell though.
You don't read no good, no how anyway.
Anyway, all right. GadgetLab.com. GadgetBuyback.com. We tell all these business owners. I know people out there listening right now. They're CEOs, they're presidents, they own businesses. We know you're listening. Check this out, man. You buy all these tablets and these computers and these watches for your employees.
And they're bitching.
Turn them in, dude. They're old.
They're old.
We don't need an iPhone 7.
They're bitching at you. They're calling you cheap.
Yes, get the latest.
Jesus.
Get the latest and greatest. And they will pay good money for it. They'll buy it back. It's unbelievable what they do. GadgetBuyback.com, 877-772-8880, 877-772-8880. GadgetLabMobile.com is another website if you want to check out the St. Louis location that they have in Oakville. If you want to go there and check it out, you got a broken tablet, phone, whatever, stop on in. They'll fix it while you wait, dude.
One other thing on it. 23, 24, 25, 35, 30, 55. I don't give a shit. If you have a broken phone and you're maybe single or you're trying to get a job or you're in an important situation and your phone's laying there cracked to shit, you're not getting hired. You ain't getting laid. And no one's going to take you serious. Figure it out. Fix your damn phone. Go to Gadget Lab, baby. Seriously.
Is that your words of wisdom?
I'm telling you, I can't take you serious.
Okay.
I cannot take you serious if your phone's cracked.
No, that's great. That is great promotion right
I'm
there.
just letting you know.
Thank you.
It comes from the heart, baby.
All right, Bowman.com. That's from the heart, too.
Yes.
You don't need a new car. You can get a used car, although they have new cars, but they also have a lot of used cars. And we're trying to move those used cars right now. Bellman.com out in Troy, Missouri. They got the Cadillac, the Buick GMC. I'm getting the Cadillac. They got the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on the other side of the street. You're getting the Jeep, the pink Jeep.
No.
With small wheels.
I fucked
two-door.
this up so many times to where I got people
with flames on the
I got
side.
people texting me, "You're saying it wrong, idiot boy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
XRT?
SRT.
Oh, SRT.
SRT, and it's not a 5.7, it's a 6.4 with like 550 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
What's up? That's what's up.
Would you put
And I can
flames on the side of it? Like,
Yes, pink flames.
Oh, you like that? You like cars that have like the flames?
No, with flowers on there. Well, no, it's gonna be blacked out, baby. Okay. And I'm gonna make it a little bit loud, and I can fit my hockey bag in there. Although I don't take my hockey bag anywhere anyway, because it's at Centene.
Listen,
yeah.
Cam walks out of a rink after playing pickup hockey, and he carries his sticks in like that stick bag that you used to take, like back in like when you played in the Silver Sticks. Like when you're like
you're not even chirping me right.
8 years old, you put your sticks in a stick bag.
I'm a fucking princess.
That's embarrassing.
No, embarrassing. I'm high-fiving people walking out.
Clayton Keller was like,
signing
"Oh my
autographs.
God, is that a stick bag?"
Signing autographs.
Signing autographs.
If I have a stick bag and you're signing autographs, you're still cooler than not signing autographs and having a stick bag.
You're not cooler than Claude Lemieux.
No, I'm not.
He's our guest. Episode number 55. Claude Lemieux. Talk about a legend, man.
Yeah,
this
baby.
guy has unbelievable stories. And he's with us right now on the Cam and Strick podcast. Is it Claude? Is it Claude? Set the record straight, because I hear various pronunciations here.
I'm going to call you Killer.
Yeah. Claude.
Claude.
People struggle with it. I tell them to close the door. Claude is the proper, but I would say I've been called everything from Cloud to Claude to a bunch of other names. I don't want to.
Yeah, we've heard some of the names.
We had McCarty on.
We had Darren McCarty on. But listen, when did you learn English? How did you learn English? Like when you first started playing with, Montreal, were you bilingual at that point in time, or how did you end up mastering the English language?
I would not say that I have mastered it yet, but doing pretty good. I did not speak any English. My first training camp in 1983, I was, constantly going over, and fortunate I was drafted by Montreal. There was a bunch of French guy on the team, so I would go to the back of the line and ask the French guys what Bob Berry was saying. And, being in Montreal and in the environment and being curious and wanting to learn, I started reading the Gazette. Did not understand, but the sports section, I started picking it up that way, watching TV shows, Price is Right, and other shows like that. And within a few years, I felt, comfortable enough to get around and travel and
The Price is Right. Who knew that could teach you the language? I mean, it's always amazing because I've seen guys come in who can literally speak no English, and we've had David Perron on the show, and obviously Turgeon. I mean, all these guys, man. It's pretty amazing that you guys are able to do that. Listen, tell our audience. And tell Cam, because he's out of the loop. He has no idea what's going on.
I've been looking you up for 5 hours straight. Who are you kidding, Andy? Go ahead.
But you're an NHL agent now, and you have been for the last several years. How did that all come about?
When, I always had, I always liked the business side of hockey. I always felt pretty comfortable with numbers. I negotiated some of my own deals over the years and represented myself towards the end of my career. So I always said I was going to, be on the management side, whether it's GM, assistant GM, or be on the agency side. And I was offered the position when I just first retired in 03, 04. I went played in Switzerland for a handful of games. And company I work with and at the moment, and these guys were just new, and they were building their model, and were representing players in golf and soccer, and they were representing skiers, and just created and started their hockey division. And I wasn't ready at the time to be full time, but I was okay with being a consultant, which I did for quite a few years. And then they came back, and believe when I came back and played in 2009 and retired again, the guys came back and, really made me a good offer, and decided that was what I wanted to do. And it's been 10 years.
Yeah, we're going to get into you coming back and taking a little bit of time off and coming back and playing for San Jose. But what is your day-to-day life like being an agent? Like, go through that real quick on what you have to do.
Well, I don't have to tell you. It's it's a demanding job in a way that you service players, and it doesn't it does matter in a way if you played and you have a history. But at the end of the day, my job is to be there, whether it's for a 16-year-old or a 36-year-old. The fortunate part is that I experienced it firsthand. I remember what it was like. I remember what it feels like when you're 19 years old, and you think you're with the big team, and you're in the NHL, and you get a phone call and you get sent down, and you're depressed, and you don't want to go down and play in the American League, and life sucks, etc. So I can relate to those guys. You got to be available. We work with our cell phones, a lot of hours, a lot of screen time, and it's to be connected to, and I think it's, if you don't like what you do, you're not going to last. You got to enjoy, you got to love hockey. I've always loved hockey. And, so it's been good to me. Hockey's brought me a lot of pleasure, a lot of success, on and off the ice. And I get to do it still, and I'm going to be 55 this summer. So I feel very blessed.
Wow. Well, you should. And I know you and I have talked about, because you represent Oscar Sundqvist. I'm sure he's high maintenance.
Oh.
You got to deal with Sonny, I'm sure. But do you represent your son, too? Do you negotiate his deals? What's that like?
No, that's high maintenance. Yes, we represent Brendan. I take care of him. And, if you have children, you can understand where I'm coming from. It's always challenging when it's always more emotional when we're speaking of our kids. I have 4 of them, 3 boys and 1 daughter, and representing your son is not the easiest job in the world, but it's brought me a lot of joy, a lot of pain at times. Bit unfair for Brendan. He happens to play a similar position. I was a right wing. He's a left wing. Plays a game that resemble the way I used to play, and it's not been like I said, it's not been fair for him at times. But the flip side of it is I've been able to be there for him, support him, and give him everything I can, and we have a great relationship. I love him most as a person, and love the way he plays and his commitment and his desire to succeed.
I like the way he plays too. Not gonna lie to you on that one. He's got a little bit of you on him, which is always a good thing. But how were you when you were a kid, though, Claude? Like, did you have that killer in you? Would you have?
It's Claude.
It's Claude. It's Claude.
That's okay.
It's a mixture.
Claude,
it's a
Claude.
Mixture. I'm a Eureka boy.
For today, Claude's going to work out just fine.
I'm going to call you Killer. I'm going to call you Killer. But how were you when you were a kid? Were you wild when you were a kid? Did you learn? Did you hit puberty and start doing? Figure out your game the way you are. Like how did that all go down?
I didn't come from a sports family. My dad never played hockey. My dad didn't have time to play sports. He was a strong guy, but he worked 7 days a week to put food on the table, and mom worked as well. So hockey came to me just watching kids play after school, and being in Quebec, and and skating an outdoor rink was the beginning for me, and I just truly fell in love with the game. And I was genetically gifted. I was always one of the bigger kids on around the schoolyard and on the team, and played shinny hockey every night after school with borrowed equipment and whatever I could put together, and that was it. Loved the game, and learned to stick up for myself. I was the there's 3 brothers, and I was the eldest, and you figure out a way, and got a lot of scraps early on, and just played with an edge, and I had to, and that was the way of surviving those shinny games with kids that were 6, 7, sometimes 10 years older than you were.
Wow.
It helps you.
Yeah, and I remember your brother Jocelyn, because he played a handful of games here in St. Louis. And listen, he had an edge to his game too, man. Used to love watching him play, and could only imagine what it was like for you guys growing up, the Lemieux brothers. But when you played in Montreal, I mean, you come into that organization, you're from the area, the history behind the Canadians. We've had other Montreal Canadians on here as well. I mean, I can only imagine what's that like. Like, was it intimidating, or did you feel more comfortable because it's kind of the organization that you grew up watching, and you just probably felt more comfortable as a French-speaking player coming into there?
I think both. I think you're excited that if I had to do an interview pre-draft, I would have said, my first choice to play for the Montreal Canadiens. Grew up watching them. I love the Nordiques as well. The Canadiens was the team. At that time, they'd won 22 Stanley Cups. So how could you not love the champions and the Canadiens? And so going to training camp, being around Guy Lafleur and Mario Tremblay and my childhood heroes and idols, and Serge Savard, the GM, Larry Robinson was on the team, on and on. So I wouldn't say that it was comfortable because it was intimidating. The media was incredibly intense. I learned real quickly. One of my first interviews, they said, what do you think? You're a second-round pick, and when do you see yourself playing for the Montreal Canadiens? And I said, this year. And they're looking at me like, if you looked at the roster, there's 6 guys ahead of you on the contract. But, that's just how I was. And so you learn, and I learned quickly that there was going to be a lot of media pressure. There was going to be a lot of, fan pressure. I was incredibly fortunate to get off a good start. Had to pay my dues, playing the American League for 50-some games after junior, and got called up late in the year when Mario Tremblay went down with a shoulder injury, and the rest is history. We had a big playoff, and I was a big part of it, and won my first cup at 20 years old.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
20 years old. Win your first cup at 20. Explain some of the how tough it was for a guy like you, especially in the 80s when it was such Wild West still. You got tough guys on each team. A lot of those guys wanted to absolutely kill you. How did you get through that whole thing? Going into sleeping during the afternoon, coming through, knowing that you're going to have to deal with somebody, knowing that 4 or 5 guys on that team are going to want to either slash you in the back of the head, try to fight you. How'd you deal with all that pressure?
You figure it out. I always tell guys, you don't want to think too much. You want to, you just want to go out and do it. And I was a tough kid, like I said, growing up, and I was a tough kid playing junior hockey. But unfortunately, I was one of those guys you call the guys that cut easily, one punch, and I'd have to go in for 15 stitches. So,
So was Cam.
I was a bleeder. I was a cutter. It was terrible. And so, you get tired of that. You throw 5, 6 good ones, and then he throws one. He hits you in the right place. You're bleeding all over the place. You're taking, 15 stitches. The next day, your eyes shut. So I would bruise easily, and I would cut easily. And being as proud as I was, I got tired of it. And I thought, I can either keep going this way, or I'm going to let them chase me around the ice and drive them crazy and put the puck in the net. And I think I can make more money, and I can have a better career that way, and I can be more successful, be a bit more like Dale Hunter was. He didn't drop the gloves often, but he was effective.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you had some monster years offensively, though.
Yeah,
I mean, even you look at your numbers, you almost scored 400 goals. But people think of you as a dirty player, whether it's fair or not. I mean, you look at the all-time list of dirty players. I mean, you're right up there. I mean, some lists you see you number 2 behind Sean Avery. Is that fair? Do you think you were dirty? Is that a fair assessment of who you were as a hockey player?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say that I wasn't, but I wouldn't say that I'm not going to say should be at the top of the list. I think if not for the hit on Kris Draper, it would have been different. There were a lot of guys that played the style, my game. If you think of Rick Tocchet and Cam Neely and on, you can go, down the list, and Kevin Dineen. There were a lot of guys that played hard and right wingers and played physical and fought. But I think the incident with Kris Draper really put a mark on me, and also my decision. It was a decision to not drop the gloves all the time, and it was done with a purpose. Was I could be more effective not fighting Cam Neely than I would be if I fought him.
Yeah. Well,
that definitely did not help my reputation.
But who cares at that point, though, really? I mean, did you go into games, though? Because there's a couple videos of you, even in warm-ups, though. Even in warm-ups, like, you're not getting off the ice. No, I'm going to stay on the ice. So was it a game for you? Did you go into certain situations against certain different teams, and you're like, I know how to get under their skin. I'm going to wait after warm-ups. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to piss everybody. Was there a game plan to this method?
I don't know if it was planned strategically that way. I think I would say I was a bit unconscious. Like, people thought of the playoff as such a big deal. I thought of it like, it's a big hockey tournament. I'm going to go win it. I'm going to play. I'm going to have fun. It's not about who scores the goals. It's about winning the tournament. It's about winning that event. And it's about having all the guys together, living in a hotel, having the whole world watching. And so I think for me it was more like being a little bit unconscious, and like that whole event with the Flyers with, putting the puck in the net was just a routine that Corson and I had developed, where he'd wait for me and I'd be the last guy in the warm-up. I liked to stay on the ice longer. I didn't like to have a big, 20-minute break in between the warm-up and the start of the game. And especially in Montreal, they always honoring somebody. So, there was celebration or something going on every 5-6 games. So you'd have a half-hour break. So I'd stay on the ice longer. Corson would wait, and then he would put the puck in the net or throw one in the empty net. And it's not that we did it to create something, but we realized it really drove the Flyers crazy. And so we had to strategize a little bit about it, and the rest is history. We created, this crazy fight that went on with guys with no skates and no gear and police officers ended up splitting the fight and went on for probably a half hour before the game started.
Well, Dave Brown came out with no jersey or equipment on, and I think he grabbed Nyland at that point. Oh, I mean, it's horrifying. Those are horrifying things that probably will never happen in hockey ever again.
No. But where'd your swagger come from? Like your confidence to be like that? Like, where do you think you got that from, Claude?
The real truth is I had none. That's the truth. Is I grew up poor. We never missed food, but we didn't have nice cars. We didn't have nice things. And I had to fight away. And so you're either going to have an edge and be cocky and be entitled because you grew up with wealth and you're so confident of yourself. There was one thing I was confident about is that I felt I was strong as a horse. I was physically gifted and I was going to use it. And I used it being the physical player that I became. But I can't say that I had all this confidence. It's just that I was good at playing hockey. I grew up being a defenseman. I understood what it was like to be a defenseman. I think I was a good partner when being on the ice with the D-men. That often would tell me, love playing with you because you're always in the right place to back me up. And growing up, I played on good teams. I played with very good players. We were a small town, but we always kicked ass. We always beat, the city teams, and we went to Ottawa and Hull and Gatineau, and we beat everybody. And I think that part, I did have a lot of confidence that I could win, but I can't say that I was a confident person. I had a lot of worries and second-guessed myself, but hockey did bring me the confidence to become, a successful person, on and off the ice.
That's interesting. There's a great video, by the way, of you fighting Darren Kimball, though, when you're playing with Montreal, playing Quebec.
God, yeah.
And so if there was anybody wondering if you could throw and go toe-to-toe, and as Cam says, throw down the pipe.
Down the pipe, baby.
You did it. And that, I mean, listen, that's an unbelievable fight video to watch. And he was tough,
Very
man.
tough.
You remember that?
Oh, I remember. We grabbed each other and I kept, looking around, and I forget how it started. I think I might have dropped my gloves, and he was like, "Yeah, you're kidding, right?" But I mean, look, you fight. My brother was a much better fighter than I was, and Jocelyn growing up was not as big, as strong, as gifted as I was. He matured later, and I remember my brother Jocelyn's first game, preseason game. We're facing each other in junior hockey, and he was coming with a reputation of being a physical player, and the guys were asking me on the team if he was tough, and I said, no, he's not tough. He's never been in a fight. And he hit one of our 20-year-old defensemen in the corner, knocked him down, a big hit. And this guy got up and thought he was going to teach him a lesson. And I mean, I remember standing right up because your little brother's going to get in a fight, and I'm thinking he's going to get killed. And he hit this guy 3 times and broke his nose, his eye bone, and his cheekbone.
Ooh, that sets you back.
It was brutal. It was brutal. And that's just what Josh could, when he would land the punch, it would hurt. I could land the punch and bruise somebody. He could do a lot of damage. And yeah.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
You're the kind of guy that'll throw a punch and land, but you get cut open. Yeah, trust me, I've been there too. Why do you think?
You're right.
You know how that goes. Why do you think? You're so important, especially in the playoffs. Like, why did you get traded from Montreal? Did you want that?
Yes.
Okay.
I can probably say that the times I got traded, I asked for the trades. It was a demand. It was not something that happened, and I didn't see it coming. So I didn't get along with Pat Burns. Pat was a good guy. Pat and I would go for a beer, and we'd sit down and talk about hockey and stuff and get along great. But he just didn't think of me as much as I thought of myself. That's just what the truth is. And Serge brought us in one day, and it was the three of us in a meeting. And Serge says, I don't want to trade you, and you guys have to figure out a way to get along. And I said, he just doesn't believe in me the way that I see myself as a player. And so Serge was great and agreed to trade me. And New Jersey, I didn't specifically ask for a trade after winning the Cup and MVP Conn Smythe Trophy, but I knew if I pursued and challenged the Devils the way I did and Lou, it would most likely result in a trade, and it did. And then I left Colorado and went back to Jersey, and I'd asked Pierre to move me because the team was in ownership, dealing with ownership changes. At the time, there was no ownership in place. It's kind of a weird situation. So I couldn't see myself playing my option year at the time with the Avs. So went back to Jersey, and following time I got traded. I was in Arizona, and I worked out something with I had a no trade, but I worked out something with Mike Barnett and Wayne to do a deal with Dallas. I wanted a chance to win and ended up in Dallas, and that was the last time I was traded.
So I want to move on to when you went to Colorado here, because you think of Claude Lemieux, you think about one of the most clutch players in the history of the game. I mean, your playoff performances were legendary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dangle-itis.
you just mentioned winning the Conn Smythe. I think you only scored 6 goals in the regular season that year, but you had 13 in the playoffs. I mean, just clutch as hell. But you brought up the Draper hit before, and that moment and that incident, like, how do you reflect on that now? How do you look back on it? Like, what did that mean for your career? How often do you get asked about it? And just walk us through the incident in terms of how you see it from your point of view.
Well, the people that are close to that rivalry and paid close attention to what happened, the previous year I played Detroit in the finals. And Detroit was favorite, and people were predicting that Detroit would sweep New Jersey, and we ended up sweeping them. So I certainly didn't make any friends, the previous year, 95. And here I am facing Detroit again in 96. And in game 4, I believe, in Denver, Kozlov put Adam Foote's face on the wall. I mean, I think he broke his eye bone or cheekbone. Foote was brought out on a stretcher, and as he was being taken off the ice, I said, I got him. And so late in the game, I suckered Kozlov behind the net when I got a chance.
Yep.
Try to knock his bucket off. And so I got a game suspension. And maybe that was game 3. Game 4 suspended. I came back, played game 5 in Detroit, and I was, when you're suspended, and so I was a little bit tentative. And I remember having a meeting, I think, with Crow between game 5 and 6, which is the game I got the hit on Draper, and Crow had said, you just can't be hesitant. You can't play timid. You got to play your game. And my game's to finish hits and, let Forsberg do the work with the puck and Kaminsky, etc. And, Kris was skating with the puck, and I'm coming back to the bench. And, the rest is history. I decided to go straight. And it's a fraction of a second, was a bad decision. I hurt him, which was, I never played hockey with the intent of hurting anyone. I didn't have enemies. I had guys. I never took it personal. I never wanted to be personal. When I got in on the ice, for me, it was all about what was happening on the ice, and afterwards it was over. So it's not like I targeted Kris Draper. I always said if I was going to take somebody out, I'd go after one of the guys that was hurting us, offensively, whether it was Fedorov or Yzerman. And it was a hit that to this day, I'm known for.
Yeah, you know what? Draper's done the same thing. I've done the same thing with guys. I mean, it just sometimes it happens when you slow it down so much to where, it's just frame by frame. It looks a lot worse than what it is, although still bad. Have you talked to him? And if so, what was the conversation like?
Well, I was criticized at the time, and this is back in the days now. It's not like today everybody's got each other's cell phone and texting and then messaging and Instagram and all that stuff. Back then was not quite common to be connecting with players on the other team, and I was criticized for not apologizing. What I had done, I believe, was apologize through the media that I didn't mean to hurt him. I finished my hit, and unfortunately, he was badly hit, and so we never connected. We connected, goodness, after I was retired. He was retired, and we ran into each other, and we chatted, and we had a good. We didn't really talk so much about the past. We had a good talk at the time. Kris was just started working for Detroit, and I think he was scouting the boys and looking at my son, and I was in the business, and then we saw each other, and he introduced me to his family and wife and kids. So it's definitely something of the past. Like I said, I never took it personal. For me, it was never personal. I had my face, my eye bone, cheekbone, and nose broken by Gord Kluzak, and it was a big hit. My face hit the dashboard, and I was in bad shape. But I never made it personal with Kluzak because of the hit.
Are you surprised you didn't get suspended? I mean, you just came back from a suspension. You got the 5 and a game. They tossed you out of the game. Did you think you were going to hear from the league and get suspended after that hit?
Yeah, I knew I was done. I mean, what did they give me? 2 games. I missed the first 2 of the final against Florida. So I knew there was a lot of pressure. And I think there was a lot of anger with the fans, having been favorite in 95, losing in 4 straight, being favorite in 96, getting kicked out in the conference finals. So a ton of pressure on the league, and Berkey at the time was in charge of discipline, and I knew I was going to get 2 games. I remember I offered Berkey I would trade him half a season the following year with no pay for not suspending me in the playoff. That's how much playoff meant to me. And once we won and I missed 2 games, I was actually pretty happy that that he didn't take me up on my offer. That would have been an expensive Stanley Cup.
So wait a minute. Dino Ciccarelli said afterwards, I can't believe I even shook his hand. Did you come back out on the ice for the handshake lines? Like, what's he talking about there?
I did, yeah. I came back. I was kicked out, but then we had a celebration, and all the guys that weren't dressed went on the ice, conference finals, and shook hands. So I was one of the guys.
Andy, you didn't see that video, Andy?
What were they saying to you in the line, though? What were they saying to you in the line?
There's a video of it.
They didn't say anything to you in the handshake line?
They didn't. No, they didn't say much.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like they were.
You see the video? Look, Claude, it's hilarious. You're so amped up, and you shake his hand, and then right after you shake his hand, you put both your arms in the air like, "Fuck yeah!" He's like, and who's he kidding anyway?
Right,
like he's had some nasty ass hits,
yeah.
cross checking. Who's he fucking kidding?
Yeah, exactly.
I knew him pretty well, and he and I had been together in Canada Cup training camp. I knew him. I never took personal what he said. You know, he played hard. He was a nasty little guy, I tell you.
Oh,
Damn right he was.
for sure.
Damn right he was. He's fun to watch. Just like you were fun to watch. Look, when you knew Kozlov and Forsberg, you could feel the tension in that game. All of a sudden there's a whistle, and you're going back to the bench, and Darren McCarty's like, nah, fuck this. And he turns around. Were you expecting that? Were you expecting that? Do you wish you could do that over and step back and maybe drop the gloves and kind of get a grip on the guy? Like, take us through that moment when he turned around and beelined it for you.
I expected, anything and everything the game before, which was the first game back, because, the hit, we won. Then I got injured, missed a bunch of games. And it came back, and then I forget when it was, second half of the season, we have that game in Denver, and so I'm ready. I'm ready for anybody to come. And, I mean, I had said to Kris Draper, let's go, or I forget what I'd said. I was high as a kite and thought I was going to have to fight half the team, and nothing happened. So I'm thinking, okay, I guess – Bowman is, Scotty's told those guys, let's leave it alone and let's move on. And so I wasn't quite ready for what happened. And, the truth is I knew Peter could stir shit up too. I mean, Peter, my wife always blamed me, said, this one of the highest skilled players in the game, and he's playing with you, and now he's playing so dirty. And I said, trust me, Forsberg did not need me to learn to play that way. So
No shit.
he could forget how it happened, and McCarty just landed a bomb. You hit a guy with your glove on, which is how the first punch, and I was gone. I was out of it. And then, when you get your bell wrong, you're down, you hear things, you feel things, but you're kind of semi out of it. That's just how it was. So, but you know what? It set the table up for going back there and having, the toe-to-toe fight with McCarty back in Detroit. So
that was a good one, too,
right off the face-off.
He's a lefty or righty. He went toe-to-toe,
but I think
baby.
the story is McCarty tells a story how Adam Foote grabbed him, and then Brendan Shanahan came in and kind of got him untangled with Foote, which allowed McCarty to beeline and obviously,
and then Waugh came.
Because it was Larionov and Forsberg.
It was Larionov, not Kozlov. I fucked that up. My bad.
I mean, which would not have been a main event. Okay, that would not have been the main event. But that's just that started the whole rivalry with you know, with both of your teams. Like, I mean, how excited? Like, what are the rest of the team? What was their reaction and like the anticipation to play against Detroit, knowing shit was going to go down eventually? Were they saying, hey, listen, Claude, we got your back, man. We're ready for this? Like, was it talked about? Because I hear stories about security and stuff like that. When you guys went back to Detroit, the police escort you guys got and the police, protecting the hotel on the outside.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it was more than just, what took place on the ice that night, right?
Yeah, after that brawl, it was pretty brutal, and I didn't have a roommate in Detroit. I had a security guard outside the room 24/7. And that went on for a few years, and it ended after pretty much after I fought McCarty in Detroit. Then things just, quiet down, and I was able to have a roommate again and walk the streets, and it was fine. But for a few years, it was pretty intense, and I think for a lot of players probably annoying, and I think for a lot of the guys, look, we had tough guys, we had tough teams, and we had Simon with us, and we the Chief. I mean,
God.
And then and then Chief left, and then we brought in Jeff Odgers, and Audgie was my roommate for a year and a half, 2 years. And actually, I said to Audgie, I said, next game I'm going to fight McCarty in Detroit. I'm not even going to do it, and I'm not going to wait to do it in Denver. Anybody can fight in their own barns. It'll be better in Detroit. He goes, no, I got you. And I said, no. I said, you take care of whoever's coming, and I'll fight McCarty. And I didn't even know he was a lefty, and I found out he was a lefty. I watched a couple of tapes, and I said, Audgie, how do you fight a lefty? He goes, it's very easy. You throw more than he's going to throw, and you'll be fine. I said, okay.
Look at Audgie's nose. I don't know if that worked out too well.
Hey,
talk about a cutter. This guy, I mean, he was tough as they come, but one punch and he'd be 14 stitches.
Just leaking. So, all right, describe the scene, though. You're walking out of the building with your wife and your kid. I think it was Brendan. And Scotty Bowman starts, yelling at you. You end up going on the bus challenging Scotty Bowman, right? The Detroit Red Wings bus you went on there? Like, what the hell is going on here? Claude, tell us what happened there.
You're crazy.
I told you guys earlier, I always believed what was going on the ice was to be kept on the ice regardless. And so the old McNichols Arena, the visiting team's bus would always be parked right outside where we parked our cars. And I was coming out, and that was after the game where I sucker punched Kozlov. Mm-hmm. And I was walking out with our son, Brendan, which he was probably a month old, and my wife and my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and they were all on the bus. And Scotty stuck his nose out. He's sitting in the front row and started chirping me, and I just handed over Brendan to my father-in-law. And I went on the bus, and it was. I forget what I said, but yeah.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com. Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.gadgetbuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either. No. Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com. 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah. Sometimes you just go crazy like that. Sometimes you have enough. There's so much drama in your life, and then somebody just says something to you, like, you know what?
To set you up. But then you had a chance the next day, though, right? I mean, didn't you have a hearing with the league, and you're in the hallway, and you come face to face with Scotty with nobody around?
Oh, that was beautiful. I thought he was going to pass out, but listen, guys, I had grown up watching the Canadians. Idolizing Scotty Bowman, watched him coach. I mean, this guy was a legend in Montreal. So I had the utmost respect for him. So it wasn't because of a lack of a respect in any way. I would have never touched him. But he chirped me, and I went on the bus, and I said, "What do you want? What do you want to do about it?" And the whole bus erupted, so I knew it was going to be a little bit of a shit show, if I may say. Mm-hmm. And it was. And then the next day, Pierre and I met, and we had the league wanted to hear what I had to say. And I come out of Pierre's office, and there's long, skinny hallway, and there's two people and nowhere to go, and it's Scotty and I. And he kept his head down, and I said, "So what do you have to say today?" I said, "You don't have a bus." Something like, "You don't have a bus loaded with players here. What are you going to do?" And, but, it was pretty intense at that time. And looking back, I would probably go in a different direction, but I have. You can't have regrets. So
no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't go in any different direction. Who are you kidding, Claude? Who are you kidding? Because I get it, man. Like it's, you probably haven't slept in 2 weeks before that. I mean, there's just a lot of emotion that goes on with that. But let me take it back a little bit. I do get a serious question for you. I mean, you played in the 80s, you played in the 90s, you take a lot of time off, and you come back. Just explain the difference between flying, commercial, the setup when it was in the 80s and 90s compared to when you came back with San Jose when I was in the league at the time. I mean, there's such a big difference between how you're treated in the NHL as far as travel and everything else. Just kind of go through that, the big difference between that little bit of a gap in the NHL.
Well, we were, I have to say, back in the early 90s, Lou Lamoriello started treating us like we got treated in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Lou was one of the first guys first GMs to fly the players private. Now, it was for different reasons because, we love staying over on the road, and that was always night out with the boys. So Lou felt if I could get those guys back home with their families, they're going to have a better workout tomorrow. And so we started flying private, and we stayed in nice hotels, and he took good care of us. He was always great with that and the food, but definitely was a new level in 2009 when I came back. The players, the way they cared for the players in San Jose was first class, and the chef cooking you breakfast and lunch, and I was like, holy garbage, this is crazy. And it was really special for me because they allowed me to do that. They gave me that opportunity. And why did I did it? I did it because, I had such a great career and a long career, and it ended over, breakfast with Doug Armstrong in Dallas, deciding I was injured. They weren't going to wait for me in training camp, and they wanted to buy me out. And it was, I was sour, to be honest. And I thought, I deserve to have the chance to go out and play and enjoy and celebrate and know that, if I'm playing in Montreal, it's going to be the last time I ever play and step on the ice. Regardless of the role or the minutes you play, you want to have that opportunity. And I didn't get that. And I came back and lived it. And it's, those days with San Jose and being in Worcester in the American League and allowing me to have Brendan with me the whole time. He was homeschooling. He was 12 or 11 or 12 at the time. And it was an unbelievable experience.
Wow. I think you played in Asia too. Next time we have you on, we'll talk about your Asia experience.
No shit.
Do you speak Chinese too or no? I mean, you can speak English and French. Any other languages we should know about, Claude?
Definitely. If it was today, it wouldn't be happening. That's for sure. You couldn't pay me enough money to go there.
Oh man, really? Hey, I got to ask you this before we let you go. When you were playing in Dallas, though, I know Darren McCarty has says you said something to him on the ice that he really appreciated. Can you share with us what you said to him several years later after your historic moment going toe-to-toe?
I had read something about his off-ice struggles, and that he was really trying hard to change things, and he'd been sober for a while and getting some help. And I forget, guys, what I said, but it was something of that nature. And he did look at me, in a different way, but I meant every word I said.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's been on here with us. We had Lou Lamoriello on here with us too, man. I mean, just guys who, from your era, man. I mean, it's just crazy. You think about people who impacted the game. I mean, there's just so many people. So we appreciate you doing this. We could have done this for another hour, Claude, and all the best with what you're doing representing players.
And your son, by the way, who we love watching him play, by the way, and he's going to be a superstar. So we're rooting for all you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. I enjoyed it as well.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, big boy.
Man. We'll be in touch.
Claude, thanks, bud.
All right, guys. Take care.
Okay, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Claude Lemieux, man.
Man,
I mean, opened up.
He did.
And he's honest.
He is.
Dirtiest player of all time? Yes or no?
Oh, he's up there. He's up there.
And he admits that he's up there.
Who cares?
Nothing wrong with that.
Dude, who cares?
Being dirty is not bad. Depends how dirty you are. But is it that bad when you played as long as he did and won 4 Stanley Cups?
Whenever you bring the other,
and good teams want you on your team.
Put it this way: if I did the stuff that he did, I'm a dirty goon player. But you mix in being 85 goals in playoffs, and it kind of weighs it out a little bit better, right? It evens it out.
Well, yeah, it does. 80 playoff goals, dude.
I mean, dude, whatever.
It's a lot. It's amazing how long some of these guys played. Where I don't even remember them playing on certain teams. Like,
the Canadians.
Do you remember him being on the
Canadians?
No, I don't remember him being on the Coyotes or the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, I don't even. I played against him when he played for the Sharks. And
Did you?
It was kind of a big story.
He was only there for a handful of games.
Yeah, it was like
because he had retired and then came back and played.
Yeah, it was like 2009ish. I remember. Okay, I was here. So
did he try to do anything to you?
No, I don't.
How about the fact that he said he cuts easy? Did you ever cut easy? I know.
Oh hell no.
I know. Darcy Tucker opened you up a little bit.
No, I got to cut a couple. I get cut open at my chin. I did a lot. But no, I
know guys like that
tights.
Though who cut really easy.
Oh god, I know a ton of guys. You give them a little flick and they're got that cut. 14 to the head, man. That sucks, dude.
He said a couple times, "I'm a cutter."
And you know who else? I wanted to get black eyes because the chicks want to. It's a conversation starter. Yeah. It's always good to have a little
hockey player, no teeth, black eye.
Well, my teeth were there. But you got a black eye and you're in a Hugo Boss suit, and the girl's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'll explain to you. I always wanted to get a black eye, and I never could, even though you get corked. But Brad Winchester, you blow him a kiss, and he's got 2 black eyes, and all of a sudden he's like talking to chicks left and right because they want to know what happened to him. I'm like, damn you. Anyway.
The black eyes do it.
They do. It's just a conversation.
Claude Lemieux, that was a great era of hockey, man.
It's awesome.
So much fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
So much fun. So appreciate him taking the time and joining us here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Don't forget, we've got these fight videos coming out every Wednesday. Baby. People like that.
Yeah.
We're going to have some good ones, too.
Yeah.
Maybe some legendary fights involving some legendary fighters.
Yeah, we got some ideas. Trust me, I know them all.
We'll
break down some big boys.
Yeah.
Maybe big Boogard.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah. So. At Cam and Strick Pod.
Yep.
Is the Twitter account, so be sure to follow us there. Also on Instagram, at Cam and Strick Pod. You can follow Cam Jansen on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me as well, Andy Strickland, on Twitter and Instagram. This has been the Cam and Strick Podcast, episode number 55, as always brought to you by CarShield and carshield.com. Again, you get yourself in a little bit of a jam. Your starter goes out, your computer goes out, your muffler goes out, your engine goes out. You have a bill worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yep.
How are you going to pay it? Better get CarShield. Have that protection. 800-857-2481. 800-857-2481. CarShield.com. Mention the promo code CAM. You will save 10%. Not a bad deal. Save yourself some money. GadgetBuyback.com. Gadget Lab. These guys are unbelievable. You got a cracked computer, cracked screen, cracked watch, cracked phone. If you're on crack, whatever it is, okay, they will hook you up.
That's why you're dropping it, because you're on crack.
They will hook you up. GadgetBuyback.com. Gadget Lab, man, these guys are unbelievable. David Long and company.
Oh, yeah.
They also have another website, GadgetLabMobile.com. If you want to check out their local store, if you're in the St. Louis area, check that out in Oakville. Bring your broken phone, tablet, watch, whatever it is. Bring it in there. They'll fix it while you wait. Only for a few minutes. 877-772-8880. Bowman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Check out their used car inventory. They've got a ton of it. Located out there in Troy. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on one side of the street. Buick, Cadillac, GMC on the other side. Say what's up to our boy, Dan Bellman, and he'll hook you up. Of course, Cope24.com. Say what up to Renee.
Hi, girl.
COPE24.com. Changing our parenting experience. All right, this has been episode number 55. Claude Lemieux on the Cam and Strick podcast.